Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have a tricky rack, too many vowels and duplicates. And although there are plenty of words and I've got the P for score, it's going to be hard to find a play which leaves a decent rack leave. So a play of opera, for example, would leave AO, which is pretty ropey. But this rack is too good to change. Now a play of Apo would leave AEOR. An ideal rack leave would be something like pair, PEAR, but it's going to be tricky to play off just AOO, and even harder to score by playing those tiles. So I think there's going to be some compromise. Now, Yes takes an O in front, which is handy. So I could play Oop. I'd like to get the P tripled. Actually, I think Poo is going to be better. So Poo for 27. What about a play down column 9? I could play opera there. So Poo for 27. Alternatively, opera 29. That's not as much more than that's not as much as I was expecting in terms of differential, so I prefer Poo because of the rack leave. But is this really best? Now, opera didn't have the P next to the E, but if I played in column 7, I'd got nothing to go in front of the Z. Now, what about Pori? Down here, 29. Well, again, that's leaving AO. I'm going with Poo. Pretty horrendous. Duplicates of tiles I held. So I could be looking at a change here. However, the Z is still available and I've got an A for going in front of it. So I may be able to score enough to avoid changing. But not a great rack at all. Now I've got tiles for going in front of the Y and the Z. So I could play Era. My R could go in front of Poor, but I don't think I can reach the Z with a play in column 9. So it's just Era which hooks the Y and the Z. But then the rack leave of AAEI is pretty grim. And that's only 25 points, but I think 25 points is better than changing. Poo takes a number of post hooks, but R is the only one I've got. And it doesn't take anything in front, and Oyez takes nothing in front or behind. I'm just wondering if there are any alternatives to playing in column 9. I could play in row I through the Z. A play of Zaire, for example. But then that leaves an E just underneath this double letter square, so that's not great. And the score's less than 20 points. Pretty good start for my opponent. Nice bingo. 86 points. And he's obstructed the Z. So, should I change? Well, probably not. I can play Aerate for 12 points, and I think that is better than changing. Just But is there anything better than air raid? And if it's only just better than changing, maybe I should consider changing because I am behind. And changing keeps the bag fuller than any play. I guess AIA would leave a better rack leave. 9 points, but then I'm blocking a lot of the useful floaters. I'm going to change. Now, there is an argument for keeping an A as well, and I think I will, because there is the S, T, R, and L of Easterly as floating consonants. Well, I can't immediately see a 7. I would have an aunter through an E, and there is an E in Easterly. So at the moment I do have an aunter in column 12. Do I have an alternative bingo? So nature. Wow, another bingo for my opponent. 90 points. He's not only playing bingos, he's playing high-scoring bingos. I'm in a lot of trouble here. And he's taken out my Enaunter spot. Just checking in case there's a massive overlap. There isn't. So, really important now not to miss a bingo, if there is one. So I have nature with an N. Now I have unlearnt. Good. I do have a bingo. It doesn't score very much. It doesn't even get doubled. I've got the unprefix with A-E-N-R-T. So I can't see anything through the Y. Unlearned, I don't think, has any anagrams. The R duplicates a tile on my rack. And I can't see a bingo. The D isn't available. The N triplicates a letter on my rack. And the G, I can't see anything. So I'm quite grateful for having a bingo. It is a lifeline. Unlearned 62. Wow, pretty good. I've got a very bingo-y rack. I've got the first blank. Dittoing and oh yes don't take an S, nor does unlearnt. So the S not as useful as it sometimes can be. However, surely there's a bingo here. And in particular, I've got the floating P. So I thought for a moment I had rain swept, but that's a 9. I have swearing onto the G of dittoing, which is good. I have resoaring in the same spot, which gets the W doubled. So I could be back in this game. I note that the I of dittoing, well, both I's of dittoing are pretty useful for the X, which hasn't been played yet. And indeed for the Q as well, in respect of the bottom one. Well, and the top one with cheese. So I have resoaring. What if that's blocked? Do I have anything in column 15 ending with the Y? Not that I can see. Through an H or an E, I would have Sherwani, neither available. There may be a bingo in column 12, running parallel to dittoing. Always hard to see bingos with big overlaps. However, let me consider running through the alphabet with an E in my mind. Let me just check Sherwani doesn't work. It doesn't. Rainbows through an O. Okay, well that's been obstructed and resoaring remains available. My opponent has taken out both of the dangerous XQ spots, probably deliberately. So, resoaring 80. And another good pickup. There could be a bingo here. They're all bingo-y tiles. I'm not having a 7 leap out at me. So linear plus an R. Nailer plus an R. I've got the ER ending and RE beginning. I'm still 70 points behind after my opponent's fabulous start. But it could have been a whole lot worse. Now, if I don't have a bingo here, this is going to be a tricky rack to sort out because I don't have any scoring tiles. So I'm going to struggle to score. I'm just wondering if I can play down from the W. Now, what about Larnia? There could be a 7 here. So I think Larnia is good. But is there anywhere for it? 36 points for my opponent. He's provided another couple of floaters, in particular the K. Larnia. I think Larnia is good. And I don't think there's anywhere for it, which is a shame. Anyway, Renailer, not good. 14 minutes on my clock, 45 tiles left. Now, what about Airliner? Airliner through an I. No I's available. Snarlier through an S. The S is in the wrong spot. I don't think there is an anagram of Snarlier. Can't see anything with the R. Now, what about Nearlier? I think Nearlier is good. Great. Great, I have Nearlier through this E. What about the E of Resoaring, which would get the play doubled? No, that doesn't work. So I have Nearlier through the E of Awoke. Great. So where's the best spot for that? I think it's to the right because I'm still behind and I will still be behind after this. And Nearlier to the right keeps available the R and E of Resoaring as floaters for bingos. So Nearlier 59. I draw the second blank. I'm 40 points behind. I've had 3 back-to-back bingos. And I'm likely to be a bingo behind after my opponent plays. Now, my opponent's taken out the really juicy Q spots. And I don't have an I. So it may be the case that I change with this rack. However, I could play Chi. And playing off just the Q, the rack leaves pretty good. And I've got Cat through the A of Unlearnt. So I am going to be playing 28 points for my opponent, and he's taken out the floaters. But the board is not dead. I think Chi is better than Cat because the T helps the rack leave. Just checking that my opponent hasn't provided anywhere new and good for my Q. He has not. And have I overlooked any spots? There is the U of Unlearnt. But I can't use that. 12 minutes on my clock, 34 tiles left. Now, I didn't consider the E of Easterly for Nearlier. Okay, there wasn't a play there. So is Chi the best spot for my Q? So I certainly don't want to overlook something good. Okay, I think it is, and I think it's a priority to play the cue off right away if I'm going to bingo, given that I have the blank. I draw the U, of course, after playing just the Q. So where are the bingo lanes? There's row E over the top of poo. There's through the P. And, well, there's a couple of... There are lanes in columns 12, 13 and 15 involving multiple overlaps. So I may need to open something out. But let me look for sevens running over the top of PO, and my U can go over the top. So I've got a UM ending, for example. Evaluate through an A. And I'm just looking for any bingos. U and V don't go well together, so there may not be one. I just don't want to miss one if there is. Evolute. So evolute takes an R in front. Does it play? No, it doesn't. And true love is the anagram of revolute. Neither of those plays. There's also UR and TE as pairs of letters. Looks promising, but I can't see anything close to vulture. Okay, so I can't see any sevens apart from evolute, and that doesn't play. What about a play through the P? That's the most available floater. Can't see anything. What about a play through UR? Well, that would involve two U's, so quite low probability, so I probably haven't studied it. Or definitely. My opponent kills bingo lanes. So what to do about that? The K is available as a floater. So, for example, I could have a play ending AKE or UKE, but not very likely. I'm 80 points behind, so the game isn't lost, but I could get into a cycle of opening a bingo lane only for my opponent to close it down. It would be good to open two bingo lanes at once, but that's hard to do. So in addition to opening bingo lanes, I'm looking to jettison the V and the U. Can I do that? 10 minutes on my clock. So a play of love or love would achieve that. But playing love through UR doesn't open any bingo lanes and doesn't score. Do I have anything ending in the Y? I'm looking at bingos as well as non-bingos. It's pretty unlikely because ILY and LY don't work. Now, I could play vet, which takes an E in front, 4 E's to come, but hard to block if you haven't got an E. £20 points, which is pretty good because it keeps me within one bingo of my opponent. What about a play in row E ending UM? So I've got vellum. And this scores over 20, which is one of my goals. I'm just having a slight doubt in case it's double L, but I think it's good. This is going to worry my opponent. Or rather, he's going to have to prioritise blocking these floaters. I've got a pretty good rack, which could give me a bingo in column 12 onto this E. Or through these pairs of floaters, or through the K. So I think I'll go with this. But it may be a phony, it may be just double N. Just double L, rather. Let's find out. Out edge as a 7. But not a good pickup. G and U don't go well together, and aren't particularly great individually. I'm pretty sure this is good, actually. So no F or out edge. Can't see anything through the Y. What about the R? So column 13 is available for plays ending O-U-R, and I've got O and U. I would have gout weed through a W or a D. Can't see anything through the K. 8 minutes on my clock. So I don't have any O-U-R plays that come to mind. I have no scoring tiles. If my opponent doesn't block V and E, I don't have a bingo which plays through them that I've seen. But he doesn't know that, and he might sacrifice points to block it. He certainly doesn't have a high-scoring play in row D, or parallel play to vellum because of the V, although he could have a 3-letter play across beginning above the E. We shall see. My G can go next to the R. Can go next to the U, rather, so I could have a play ending G-E-R. Let me have a look here with that in mind. Okay, my opponent's gone for score. He's left floaters. That gives me hope. He's only 90 points ahead. 23 tiles still to come. So I'm considering plays ending G-E-R or G-O-R. That's out edge. Tuffy, not good, spelled with double E. Not seen anything yet. Still nothing, so I'm considering this rack with an R for plays ending G-E-R. That would be out edges through a D. 7 minutes on my clock. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything. I've got these floaters. Am I sure I have nothing through the V or the E? So I've got the over prefix, but that doesn't really work because I can't then play 4 tiles after it. And a play through the V would involve the G, U and V, which is a grim threesome. So the E is the really hot floater in column 4. But I just can't see a play with 3 E's, an O and a U. So maybe now's the time to really open the board up. Or really, what I mean by really opening it up is simply to generate a second bingo lane such that there are now 2 bingo lanes on this board. Or more than 2. There's the floating V and E of vellum, and there is also the G of Gu, and row B is available for plays, putting an A in front of Gu. This isn't great in that it only scores 11 points and the rack leave is vowel heavy. Let me look at the remaining vowels. Only 2 E's. 12 vowels out of 30. Okay, so that could work out quite well. Is Q in this spot the best way to open the board up? I think it is. The only real problem with this is the poor score. Out edger, not good. It's just D and S that out edge takes. 5 minutes on my clock. Still 23 tiles to come. This game is not over yet. Vowel heavy. I draw one of the remaining E's. Only one E in the bag. My opponent could score highly in row B with the high scoring tile on this triple letter square and then getting it doubled, but he would be opening up row A. I'm not able to take advantage with this rack. I can't see a 7 with it. However, do I have anything with the G or the V? That's what I've got in mind. So, evocates doesn't fit. Ecotarges does. So I've got ecotarges in row C. I'm now looking for V hook, V bingos rather. Foveates agonizingly doesn't fit. That gives me the AGE ending. So nothing yet through the... My opponent takes out the danger in the top right, so I'm left with the V and the E. But I haven't seen a bingo yet through them, and the V is the more likely. That's overeats. Again, doesn't work. That's the out prefix. Four minutes on my clock, 16 tiles still to come. If I don't have a bingo through the E, I need to open a new bingo lane, and that's going to be tricky because nothing goes in front of GI. There's certainly no bingo lanes in the bottom right or the bottom left. So how to open a new bingo lane? Well, I could play Agio. A dismal score, but I am opening a bingo lane in row B. I'm 100 points behind, so a bingo may not be enough. But a bingo is essential, and I think at this point it is essential that I have two bingo lanes. Otherwise, my opponent just kills what's available here, and we lamely play out the game. So I do have an opportunity for opening a second bingo lane, and I must take it. The question is this the best way of opening a lane? 1S to come. Agio takes an S. 3 minutes on my clock. I'm playing this to give myself thinking time. Well, despite the shortage of vowels, I'm finding them regularly. And that's annoying because the E of vellum is a really useful floater, but if my rack is vowel heavy, it doesn't help me. So I've got easiest and tar in row B. I do have a bingo. Do I have a bingo through the V? So I'm looking at the V. Vesicate, that doesn't fit. Deviates, that doesn't fit. Heaviest. Wow, yes, finally. I have a bingo which works in column 3, and that's a lot better than easiest. Easiest doesn't score as much. It opens up row A. And heaviest scores more and doesn't give a super easy scoring spot. It's not going to score hugely because I have no tiles on my rack which score more than 1 point. 6 minutes on my opponent's clock, 3 on mine. Can my opponent block both of those plays? I don't think he can. But I suspect he won't be too worried about row B, so he could well be focusing on blocking the V and E this turn. And he may be able to do that quite well with a 3-letter play across here for 30 or 40 points. In which case easiest would only net me 20 points over the 2 plays. So I could easily be a bingo behind even after easiest. However, at the moment, heaviest is available. And my opponent could be struggling with vowels. But the E of vellum really comes to my opponent's rescue if he is. I'm just looking around the board as to where he may be distracted, and there's really not very much. I guess he could play through the O of awoke. But he's been pretty good so far in terms of killing opportunities for me, so it wouldn't surprise me if he turned his attention to vellum. Certainly the scoring spot in row B, difficult to block and really not too much to worry about, because anything played in row B isn't going to score very much and is going to open up row A. 14 tiles in the bag, 3 minutes on my clock, 5 on my opponent's. Let me look at the vowel situation. Just 5 vowels left out of 21 tiles. Remaining tiles very unbingo-y, but that works in favour of my opponent. Yeah. So Dev is a nice play because the V takes nothing in front, so he has killed the V floater just in time. It's been available for a while, and I've only just had an opportunity of playing throw it with a bingo. So I have easiest. Do I have another bingo? Because the easiest places a vowel underneath the triple word square. I guess I should have looked earlier for alternative. Whoops. 7s. So beastie. Yeah, that's better. And I think I'll get this down because I am short of time. So beastie 62. I'm 50 points behind. I've drawn a couple of vowels, which is handy. And I've got a lot of high scoring tiles. So I could play through the O of awoke. I've probably got a few possibilities there. Hod and mod, for example. I've got made in row A, but that burns all of my vowels. It may be worth hanging on to them. Still, well, just 4 high-scoring tiles left, WF, C and B. So I've drawn half of the high-scoring tiles with that pickup. So where else is available? Well, there's the spot above ES. So I could play HM there, preserving all of my vowels. I'm 50 points behind. I think it's going to be very difficult to make up that deficit. I'm not expecting to. There are vowels available on the board. So my best hope would be if there weren't vowels on the board and my opponent was choked with consonants, but that's not the situation. There is a bingo lane in row A, but that's unlikely to stay available, and I'm a long way from a bingo and there's only 5 tiles in the bag, so really my focus is no longer on bingos. I just need to eke out as much score as possible with my remaining tiles. Only 2 minutes on my opponent's clock and only 2 minutes on mine, so this is going to go down to the wire, but that's okay. If these 2 spots at the bottom stay available, I think I prefer HM, because I like keeping hold of 2 vowels. But it's in my interest to play as few tiles as possible, while still scoring well, so I certainly need to play off at least 2 tiles. Okay, pretty good play by my opponent. 43 points. No tiles left in the bag. So he's emptied the bag. I can see what he's got. He is 90 points ahead, so I'm not going to catch him. Now, I need to be, having said I want to play off as few tiles as possible, given that the bag is empty, I now need to go out in 2 if I can. I've got 2 minutes to find an out in 2. My opponent had the S, so I can no longer have a play in column 15. Dev takes an A after it. And an O. My opponent's got an O. Now, what about a play, say, across here? And I'm short on time now, which is a bit of a shame, but I could play Cham. And I was just wondering about placing my H underneath the C. DHI not good. MHI not good. Well, but what about Cham and maybe hid somewhere else? So I've got Hod. 1 minute on my clock. Does hid play underneath Beastie? I don't think it does. Not good. Oh, well, him is good. So I could play Chad here for 22. Then I've got him and that may be blocked. But if it is, I've got, well, HM here. I'm short on time. I'm playing this. Now, I'm not sure about Chim. If Chim is good, then I've got 2 outs. At the moment, I've just seen him and So is there somewhere else for him? I've certainly got HM in my... Okay, I can go out here. 39 seconds left on my clock. Him for 16. Is there anywhere which scores more? Diva doesn't take an H after it. I'm not sure about Chim, so I am going to play him in this spot. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. I think this is my opponent who doesn't like me signing off in this way, but anyway, that's what I do. So, final score, 393 to me, 470 to my opponent, a winning margin of 77 points. So, well done to my opponent. Quite an exciting game. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first, and he played Yes. This is my rack. I thought about Opera, didn't like the rack leave, went for Oop for 2 fewer points, or Poo rather, and I still prefer that. Nice rack for my opponent. He's got Easterly and a bunch of other bingos. Tricky rack here for me. I didn't want to block these nice floaters, so I changed, and as you can see, very few decent moves taking into account score and rack leave. And yeah, I prefer changing. Opponent's rack, he has Dittoing, which is a great spot. Digitron also available. My rack, Unlearned the only bingo, so pleased to have spotted that. Opponent plays Pizzo, taking out the triple letter squares next to the I. My rack, Drawings, L5, where's that? Oh well, yeah, but that's the same score as Resoaring, so Resoaring was the best available point-wise. Opponent plays Awoke. I have Nearlia, and there was nothing else. Okay, so glad about that. Opponent plays Jute. I've now got the Q, V, and blank, and I think the priority is to play off the Q. No way of playing off the Q with the V, so I like my play. Opponent short of vowels, plays mob, blocking bingo lanes. And I play Vellum, and I still like that play. Opponent plays Grex. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here. And this is where I opened up a new bingo lane with Gue. My opponent has, well, would have had Intifada onto an A. No A available. Plays Finny to block the bingo lanes I've created. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here. I thought I may have done through the V. And this is where I played Agio to create a new bingo lane, and I still like that. Opponent plays Dev to kill the vellum floaters, and I now have Beastie and a ton of others available in row B. Opponent's got Blasted and Stabled. Neither plays. He plays Bleats for 43, which is a nice play. And now the game is lost. I'm 90 points behind, and I need to find an out in 2. Well, which HM doesn't achieve. I'm not going to go out in 2 with that. So I played Chad. My opponent plays Worf. And there was just the one out, him. And so a pretty exciting game. My opponent got off to a fantastic start with 2 high-scoring bingos with Dittoing and Easterly. I dragged my way back into the game, and it wasn't finally decided until quite close to the end. So pretty exciting stuff. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.